You spent hours crafting the perfect post for social media, only to see it drowned in a sea of content within minutes. And this leads to low engagement, slow growth, and fewer sales. In a world of algorithm changes, fleeting trends, and the constant battle for attention, how do you stand out from other creators? I mean, wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to bypass the social media algorithms, directly reach your audience, build a deep connection with them, and make money in the process? Well, my friend, there is a way, and this method has been around since the internet started. And it's one of the most overlooked ways to actually make money and build an engaged audience. And I can tell you from direct experience, this method is responsible for at least $250,000 in sales for my business in the past 9 months. So what is this magical and mysterious thing? An email newsletter. So in today's video, I'm going to go over what an email newsletter is, why an email newsletter is a game changer for creators and entrepreneurs, how to start and grow your email newsletter today, and how to make the dollar bills with your email newsletter. Now, before diving in deep, it's important to define what a newsletter actually is. So a newsletter is an email you send out to a list of people who have opted in to receive emails from you. And the content of this email newsletter can be tips, stories, updates, interesting information. It's similar to email marketing, but the main difference is that a newsletter is typically informational, while email marketing is more promotional and sales centered. So why should you even be interested in starting an email newsletter? Well, there are 6 main benefits. The first and biggest benefit is that your newsletter subscribers are yours. You own them. I mean, not in the sense of some kind of Nike sweatshop slavery kind of way, but if you build an audience on YouTube, Instagram, or X, you can get banned for whatever reason, and you would be absolutely screwed. And the only way you can lose your newsletter subscribers is if they unsubscribe. Now, the next benefit is that starting a newsletter is free and easy. All you need to do is to sign up for a newsletter platform and write emails. The third big benefit is that there are no evil algorithms. So unlike social media, where on average you're getting 1 to 10% of your audience to actually see your content, the average newsletter gets around a 21% response rate or open rate for the people that subscribe to it. But these numbers can be way higher. I've seen people with 60% of their emails being read. My newsletter gets an average of 44%. Now, the fourth benefit of a newsletter is that you build a deep connection with your readers. A newsletter is a chance to give readers a peek inside of your mind, show your personality, and share interesting stories. And this is really hard to do with a 30-second TikTok or a 280-character post. Now, the most underappreciated benefit of a newsletter is that it forces you to understand topics on a 10 times deeper level. You're not just absorbing information for yourself, you're translating it for others. So simplifying complex topics into digestible pieces forces you to understand what you are talking about. And even if I had 0 people on my newsletter today, I would still write one because it has skyrocketed my understanding on various topics. Now, the 6th and final benefit of newsletters is that newsletters work while you sleep. So a newsletter is like a full-time employee that's cranked out on Adderall. It's just working 24/7 around the clock for you. So you can set up automations you put in place once and they run forever. So you can use these automations to sell products or nurture your newsletter subscribers. So now you know a newsletter is the bee's knees and you want to start one. So how do you even go about doing that? Well, I will lay out a simple 6-step plan to starting your newsletter from scratch. So first, you need to pick a platform to build your newsletter on. And I have tried a few. I've tried MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, and in my humble opinion, none of them come close to Beehive. Beehive is easy to use, has great pricing, and has all the features you'll need to start a newsletter. And this is not sponsored, by the way. I just think the team is super based and that they have a great product. Now, the next step you're going to take is to figure out who the target audience is for your newsletter. And there's 2 types of audiences you can choose from: broad and niche. So broad audiences is more of a large and diverse group of people, and newsletters targeting a broad audience might cover general topics like business, technology, or the creator economy. Now, the pros of a broad audience is that one, has higher potential reach. So since the topic is more general, there's a chance to attract a larger number of subscribers. Now, the other benefit is flexibility in content. So you can cover a wide range of subtopics, allowing for more diverse content. Now, the cons of a broad audience is more competition. So because of the general nature of the topic, there might be many similar newsletters, making it harder to stand out. There's also the factor of less personalization. So it can be challenging to cater to the specific interests or needs of individual subscribers when you're targeting a broad audience. And then the third con might be engagement. So a broader audience might be less engaged since the content might not always resonate deeply with every subscriber. Now, touching on the topic of niche audiences. So a niche audience is a specific, often smaller segment of a larger market. So this could be online fitness coaches, NFTs, or YouTube creators. And if you wanted to go even more niche, you could do online vegan fitness coaches, gaming NFTs, or travel YouTube creators. Now, the pros of a niche audience is higher engagement typically. So since the content is tailored to a specific group, subscribers are likely to be more engaged and more loyal. There's also less competition. So by focusing on a niche, you're likely to face less competition, making it easier to become an authority in that space. And there's also the factor of better personalization. So you can cater your content more precisely to your audience's needs and preferences. Now, the cons of a niche audience is limited reach. So the total potential audience size might be smaller due to the specialized nature of the topic. And there's also content depth. So you might exhaust topics faster since you're diving deeper into specific areas, and it requires creativity and research to keep content fresh. And if you want to reach a large number of people and have the resources to produce diverse content, a broad audience might be best. And if you have specialized knowledge in a particular area and want to build a highly engaged community around that topic, a niche audience would be ideal. But in either case, you need to take the time to understand your audience, which leads to the third step, which is picking your problems. So what problems are you solving for your newsletter audience? Are you creating content that saves them time, makes them money, or improves their skill? Now, if you need help with coming up with ideas with like what problems to solve, I got a little hack for you. So go to ChatGPT, type in the prompt, my audience is insert target audience. Give me a list of the biggest mistakes the audience makes when trying to insert goal. Then use the following prompt. Reverse this list into how-to statements. So use this marketing hack as inspiration to create actionable content for your newsletter that answers these pain points. Now, step 4 is to pick your newsletter type. And there are two main types of newsletters. One is educational. So these newsletters aim to inform, teach, or provide insights on specific topics, and they often contain in-depth deep dives or actionable advice. The primary goal is to enhance the reader's knowledge or skills in that particular area. Now, the second type is curated. And curated newsletters compile a selection of content from various sources, and curators sift through vast amounts of knowledge and information and selects the most relevant, interesting, and valuable pieces to share with their audience. The primary goal is to save readers time and provide them with a consolidated source of updates, news, or opportunities in one place. Now, step 5 is to grow your newsletter, and there are a few ways you can get people onto your newsletter. So the biggest one is probably social media, and this is one of the easiest ways to get people on your newsletter. So at the end of a piece of content, tell your audience that they can get more in-depth insights for free if they subscribe to your newsletter. So either attach a link to your newsletter at the end of a piece of content or put a link in your social media bio. The other way to grow your newsletter is lead magnets. And a lead magnet is something valuable you create that you give your audience in exchange for them signing up to your newsletter. And this can be something like an ebook, a checklist, or a mini course on something they care about. Now, the other way to grow your email newsletter is to trade with other creators. So many newsletter platforms now have the option for creators to recommend other newsletters when people sign up for them. So you can partner with another creator, and when someone signs up to one of your newsletters, it'll recommend the other person. And this can be a huge driver for growth. Beehive, the email newsletter platform, has this feature built in, but but you can also use a tool like Sparkloop. Now, the final way to grow your newsletter is by running ads, and this is more advanced, so I recommend doing this once you've reached around 10,000 subscribers, but you can run ads and tell people, hey, sign up to my newsletter to get X, Y, and Z. The final phase you've been waiting for, cue the drum roll, ways to make money from your newsletter. So there are a few ways you can make money with your email newsletter. One of the fastest ways to monetize your newsletter is to sell your products and your services. And it can be as simple as creating a valuable piece of content in your newsletter related to what you're selling. Then at the end, be like, hey, by the way, if you want help with XYZ, email me back this keyword and I will give you more information. Or you can just send them to a website to buy something. Now, the second way you can monetize your newsletter is by affiliating for someone else's product or service. So you can find businesses and creators and ask to promote their stuff for like a 20 to 50% commission on every sale made. Now, the third way you can monetize your newsletter is by selling a subscription. So if you have valuable information, you can put a paywall up to access specific newsletters or put a paywall up to access the rest of a free newsletter. And the fourth way you can monetize your newsletter is by selling advertisement slots. So once you grow a large enough newsletter audience, around like 10,000 plus people, you can get in contact with businesses and creators and sell advertisements to their product, their service, or even their own newsletters. Again, Beehive makes this easy by having that feature baked into their product. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Newsletters 101. And even if you're a smaller creator, I recommend starting a newsletter now. You will build a higher quality audience, you'll understand your topics better, and you can repurpose your newsletters into social media content. There's literally zero downside. Now, if you are a creator and want to drive growth to your newsletter with social media, you can check out the video on the screen. In it, I break down how to grow on social media and get your first 10,000 followers. And this is catered to the platform X, but it's honestly transferable to Instagram and other platforms.